Hey guys, my name's Dustin, and I got a real treat for you today. You might be asking me why I'm surrounded by shoes. It's because I'm going to show you a new pair of shoes. We've got a few runners here. So we have the Pegasus 35. The heel here was inspired by a couple of other shoes you see around me, such as the Vaporfly 4%. These guys have something called ZoomX foam in them. When you run in them, they kind of give you the propulsion sensation like you're falling forward. And I ran in these a couple of times. I've got to say that it definitely feels like they're pushing you full. It comes with, like I said, the ZoomX foam. It's got the lightest foam out that Nike has right now with the highest energy return. On top of that, they made a daily trainer with the same type of shoe called the Nike Vaporfly. These guys are pretty well beat up. I ran these quite a few times. I ran my first marathon in these. And these are definitely more like the daily trainer, but they are modeled to look just like this shoe and almost respond the same way. They don't have a full carbon fiber plate in them. It's like a carbon fiber nylon infused plate. And this foam isn't exactly the lightest foam. It's their old Lunarlon technology that's going out. In this shoe, the Pegasus, we have the Nike Zoom Air. It's got a big air pocket that runs through it. Now Nike's called these shoes, you know, they're good for training, good for daily training. They're okay, they're a bit heavy. And then you step up to the Zoom Flies. These are actually a little bit lighter. They come in at around 8.4 ounces. They're great for training, they're great for racing. You can pretty much do it all in these. These bad boys over here though, they're super light, great for race day. That's all they recommend them for is race day. So, if Nike's got this new ZoomX foam out, how are they going to make it available for the average person to use on a daily basis? That's where the cool part comes. You got the Nike Pegasus Turbo. These shoes were a limited release on 7/19 for Nike Plus members only. I gotta show you guys in here. I can't be the first one to see. Check these out. Ready? Boom! This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Nike Zoom Pegasus Turbo. These are a mix of all the shoes around me that you see here. They look just like the Pegasus. They don't really kind of look like these guys at all. They're just, these are kind of modeled off of the Vaporfly. How these come into play is these both have the ZoomX foam, super light foam. Now the difference between this shoe and the Vaporfly, there's no carbon fiber plate in here. It's strictly ZoomX foam all the way through. But if you'll notice on the bottom of these Vaporflies, it's definitely like a low profile, kind of like a English street racing bike style tire, I guess you could call it. And this is more like a traditional bike tire, something you might just go ride around on as a kid. Whereas these are more for like someone who's built for speed. Which is why this is a good sole for this. These are more like a daily trainer. This is a really lightweight daily trainer. What I do with these, I typically run somewhere between an 8 to 8.5. I got the 8.5 in the Pegasus 35s, but my feet swim just a little bit in these. But I got them just as a daily trainer, so I wasn't too worried about making sure that they were perfectly 100% locked down. When I bought these guys, I bought these in an 8.5, and these seem to fit me really well. But when I tried the Vaporflies on, I'm glad I didn't buy these online, because I ended up having to get these in an 8. And even my feet still swim in these a little bit in 8s. So I figured I'd step down from the 8.5s, try the 8s on. From what I've read online, it seems like a lot of people are stepping down in size. So I took a gamble, and let's see how it paid off. really what I'm gonna have to do is go through and edit some of this stuff up. And I can kind of piece everything together. Give me time off. So these guys actually paid off. This gamble paid off. These 8s fit perfect. What I did was I actually threw on a pair of the shoes, or the socks that I like to run in. They're a little bit thinner, so it gives me a little bit more room in the foot just in case I needed to squeeze my foot into these, break them in a little bit, but these feel great right out of the box. They're nice and snug. I don't feel any slippage at all, like I kind of do in these sometimes if I don't tie them down just right. These feel great, so I'm going to keep this pair. And today, I'm going to wear them around, so join me as I do my day in the new Pegasus Turbo. Okay guys, I just got back a little while ago from doing a short little 3.1 mile run in the Pegasus Turbo. I'm going to give you some initial thoughts and reactions. If you take a look at the midsole here, you can kind of see there's already some creases starting to come in where the Nike Zoom X and React midsole is. But I've got to tell you, this is one of the softest shoes. Every time I took a step, it felt like I was running on like air. It was nuts. It feels a little bit different from the Vaporfly in a couple of ways. One, there's of course not the carbon fiber plate in it. But two, they did pair this with React foam as well as Zoom X for durability. If you look here on the bottom of the shoe, all this stuff in here, I keep hearing people call it Zoom X on their reviews, but I'm pretty sure this is all the React stuff. This is the React that they put underfoot because the React is a bit more durable. Here on the Vaporfly, I'm just using this as an example too. You can kind of feel the material kind of feels a little spongy almost. It feels like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it's got a distinct feel to it, something you don't really feel on any other midsole on your shoes. And when I come over here and I play with this stuff here feels kind of rubbery, kind of similar to like an Epic React. If you feel the Epic React sole, you kind of get that little rubbery gummy feeling. So that's what they put here to help protect the Zoom X. And they also put it on the bottom. So that's going to help with the durability of the Zoom X. I have literally run a total of 11 miles in these shoes. If we pull up underneath, you can see that there's some scraping along the heel here already, kind of exposing some of the innards of the Zoom X foam under the light paint that they put on these. But I also got cut off in my race. And when that happened, it actually blew out a little bit of the Zoom X foam. So when I finished, I could see that there's a little chunk just kind of flapping away in the breeze there. So I had to fix that. I went and I got some shoe goo, and I tucked that back into place and made it look as good as I could to try to hold it up so that it wouldn't come apart again. So that is why they put the React down here, so it can prevent things like that from happening. So that was probably a smart move on Nike's part. But up here you can feel this is all exposed Zoom X. So I would advise that you do not, under any circumstances, try to create any friction that does not need to be there on this part of the shoe, this little green part that runs through the top here. This little secondary layer, that's fine, that stuff's pretty protected with the React. I'll show you the bottom of my React shoe. I've actually ran in these quite a bit. You can see that it's pretty well exposed, just like the bottom of the Pegasus is, but even more so. And even though there is some initial little peeling and things like that here and there on the bottom of the React, it's actually still pretty solid. They say you can run in these shoes quite a long time, like up to 400 or 500 miles, maybe even longer. I haven't been keeping track of how far I run in these because I'm using these as more of like a casual, everyday wear. I'll run every once in a while in them if I don't feel like running in my old Pegasus, but I'm thinking now that I have these Pegasus Turbos, that kind of eliminates that. I'm pretty much not going to run the Reacts ever again. I will be running strictly in these guys. Time for my run was at about a 7:10 minute per mile pace, which is pretty good considering I was fasted. I went out to the Mariners game last night, had a few beers, maybe one too many, ate nothing but burgers and fries, ice cream, all that kind of good junk food last night. And I did not eat a single thing this morning before my run, and I started running like 10:30. So I was feeling pretty poopy and didn't really even feel like pushing the pace all that much. But to run at a 7:10 minute per mile pace in the new shoe, I think it was actually a pretty good run, considering I didn't even come back all that tired. I didn't really have to push that hard. I just kind of took it easy and just enjoyed the run. So I'm going to get in a long run in these. I'm also going to get in a fast 5K when I'm feeling good and not all dehydrated and crappy. But I would have to say I definitely approve of these. If you can fork out $180 to get yourself a nice pair of stylish shoes like this that make you faster, make you feel faster, and make you look faster, I say definitely go for it. Alright, I've been wearing these around for a few days now. I've taken them on another run. I took them on a 5.5 mile run, running at a consistent 6:58 per mile pace, right under 7 miles. Came back, legs still felt fresh, which is odd. I've never had that happen in another pair of shoes. Even in the Vaporflies, you have so much spring back with the carbon fiber plate in there that I had weird little muscles in my legs that were sore after I was done running 5 miles in those. So this is definitely a first. These shoes are freaking great. Took them out walking around, took them down to the Nike outlet store, and I had employees jump me. I figured I'd take advantage of getting the pre-release and feel cool for a minute. So if you're looking to get the Nike Pegasus Turbo, I would suggest you go true to size. I believe with my Pegasus shoes, I ended up getting mine too big to begin with anyways. My feet were kind of swimming in them, so I went ahead and stepped down to the 8s, and they worked perfect for me. So go true to size with the Pegasus Turbo, same size as the Pegasus. If you want a nice fast shoe that's going to propel you instantly to a PR, snag it. But move quick, because I believe these guys are going to sell it pretty fast, just judging by what happened during the pre-release. They sold out in like 5-10 minutes. It was nuts. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Go ahead and leave some feedback below. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down below as well. Have a good night.